Oh, absolutely. I'm Sherelle Higgins, and I'm your favorite co-host. I know y'all haven't heard that in a while, so I thought I'd go ahead and put that out there.
Yes, and I'm Dr. Sharon Credo, and I'm the oldest of this dynamic duo. And we are going to start out by talking about a sad tragedy that we just heard about. And I want to start with scripture first because, and I'm just going to read a little bit of Ecclesiastes 3, a time for everything. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. And I just want to stop right there, and you can read the rest for yourself. But this leads into many conversations that I have every day, and it leads to the passing that we just heard of Kobe Bryant.
Right.
And for those of you under the sun, if you don't know who that is, then we're going to tell you who he is or who
Absolutely.
he was.
Absolutely. Kobe Bryant is a NBA basketball legend, and he passed away in a helicopter crash this morning. And he was 41 years old. He leaves behind his wife and four daughters, and we want to express our sincere condolences to his family. I can't even imagine what they are going through. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. Kobe was young. The older I get, the younger 40 sound and are. And, he was 41 and he retired back in 2016. And so he hasn't been retired that long. And so, to me, this puts things in perspective, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of people work until they die. And then, that's sad. And so we all should strive to really be able to live in this world at some point, not having to work, not having to get up and make that the donuts every day, right? That we need to figure out how to enjoy life without involving work. And so, I'm happy that Kobe was able to retire and enjoy some parts of his fruits of his labor. He was worth $500 million, and for me, that just says that money can't save you, right? When it's your turn, it's your turn.
And that's one of the lines I like about Ecclesiastes 3 when it says there's a time to be born and a time to die. And we all know that when you look at a tombstone, there's a dash.
Yes.
Your birth date, dash, your death date. And that dash represents what did you do while you were on earth. And so we know that this man, not only was he a significant basketball star, but he was a father and a husband and a friend, and he did a lot of things in life. And so it's just a lesson for us all. And this is something that I talk about often with people. I was having a conversation with our daughter Alyssa this morning, with Walida coming over here, and you all have heard me say this over and over again. Tomorrow is today. Tomorrow is today. So whatever it is that you are dreaming about doing, that you want to do it today. Start today, because tomorrow is not promised.
Absolutely.
It's just not promised. And so, yes, we send our condolences to that family. We all have to go that way. You don't know how you're going to go. And it's so interesting. And I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but I'm going to be, working in Boston. And someone mentioned to me yesterday that I should consider taking a helicopter from Boston to Maryland every week. And I said, absolutely not. I said, because I've been in a helicopter before and I just was not comfortable in the helicopter. So that is not an option. And so here we are today finding out that, Kobe Bryant, that's how he perished. And that doesn't mean that that'll be my story, but I
Right.
just, it was just coincidental that conversation occurred yesterday around traveling in a helicopter. And so it's just very sad, but life, death, they say, should really be celebrated.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
I'm not sure what Kobe's, religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs were, but in our faith, we see death is not a bad thing, because you know that you're going to have to go at some point. So, you celebrate the life of the person.
Yes.
while that person was here. And so I know the shock of it all and how it was done is probably a tragedy and taking people, by surprise. I had a friend, she was on our show actually, and I know she doesn't mind us mentioning her because she came on the show to talk about the death of her daughter, my soror Tyrese McAllister. I remember her daughter came home from college, was in D.C. and was shot dead watching a taping of a music video. And she was at the house. And, Ira asked her how she was doing. And, she said, I can kind of roll around on the floor and scream and holler. She said, but what gets me through, and I'll never forget this. She said, I always knew that my child would have to go back to God. She said, so I can't focus on the how. Because if you focus on the how, that is the part that would drive you crazy.
My goodness, yes.
Because it was the when,
Right.
And of course, a parent doesn't want to bury their child, and I'm sure Kobe Bryant, I don't know if his parents are still living, but it was that moment when she said that really stuck with me. Don't get focused on the how, because that's what we do. It's about the when, because all of us are going to have that when date.
Oh, absolutely. It is definitely coming, and it's never going to be a good time. And so, we've talked about this on the show, and I talk about it a lot. Get your stuff in order.
Yes.
Get your stuff in order.
Your relationships, everything.
Yes, relationships,
Everything.
finances, insurance. Get your stuff in order. Let somebody know where your papers are so that when it is your turn to go, that the people that's closest to you, they're already going to be grieving. And you don't want them to have to put up a GoFundMe account and hope and pray that enough people donate to be able to bury you decently or cremate you, whatever your wishes are. Make sure somebody knows what those wishes are. And, don't put it off till tomorrow. And another thing I want to highlight here that a lot of parents just don't think about. If you work for the federal government and your child turns 22, they are no longer on your life insurance plan at work. You need to get a separate plan for them. Don't put that off. Don't put that off. And I just happened to be having a conversation with somebody back when Tasia turned 22 last summer and was saying I was looking for a policy for her. And they was like, oh, my God, their daughter was already 24. And they had not even thought about it.
Right. A lot of people don't think about
So,
it.
yes, if you work for the federal government and your child turns 22, they are not covered by your life insurance policy that the federal government offers. Get them a plan. The plans are cheap because they are young. Tasia's plan costs $21 a month.
Oh, wow.
Make sure you get them a plan. And you pay the life insurance
That's
plan.
right.
Don't expect these kids to do it because we already know how that's going to turn out. And I promise you, it's going to be cheaper to pay $21 a month than to have to pay $10,000 to bury your child. And, none of us wants to do that. None of us really want to talk about it, but it needs to be said. And we need to make sure we take care of that.
Yeah, so condolences to the Kobe Bryant family.
Yes.
Yeah. So let me.
And so, speaking of making sure we're taking care of our kids, I want to show you my shirt I have on that says, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Okay?
I love that.
This is my favorite new shirt. Somebody, Shantae Jefferson made this for me. I love her for it. And it says, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And everybody who knows me know I say that all of the time.
That's right.
And then I also want to show you the
That's
back of my jacket
Yes,
that says
I love
the
this.
future
Is black and female. That's the truth.
So we have messages today. We are doing it. We are black and we are female and we are making progress in life and we are the most educated population on this earth. And don't let nobody tell you nothing different.
And we've always been the backbone to this society,
Oh,
not
absolutely.
just to the black community.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it is. Without the black female, then a lot of things, just would not have happened. A lot of families, slave master families wouldn't exist because we were the backbone. And so the future is black and female because that's where it all started.
Right.
So let's just keep it real.
Absolutely.
So this is the deal. So why open with that? Because it was important to say, but it's something, a message that we talk about often about living life. And so what have we been doing? We've been living life. Ira and I just came back from the Soul Train cruise. We just got back last night. It was a 7-day cruise. And can I just tell you, I've been on cruises. This was at a different level. You know, it was for us, by us, and it was phenomenal. And to be able to hear and be up close with some of our musical legends is just I can't put it in words. And what ends up happening is, you know, you think about your childhood. So you think about the Jacksons, for example. So you had Marlon, Tito, and Jackie. And I was looking at Jackie Jackson, and he was moving better than I was moving. I had to Google to see how old he was. That brother is 68, 69 years old.
Wow.
It looks phenomenal. And the highlight was Ron Isley.
Yes.
Ron Isley's
love
voice
it.
of the Isley Brothers.
Mr. Big.
Yeah,
What?
it sounds like an instrument. But that man is 78 years old, and so
And about to catch a case.
Exactly, and most of our the Cameo turned it out. Confunction, Brick. I mean, these are the groups that were on there. They turned it out. When I tell you, Johnny Gill, Karen White, it was just, you just had to be there to even understand. And so we were there, and we were just enjoying life. And when you're on the water, for those of you who've cruised before, when you're on the water, you're just away from life.
Yes.
You just really are.
Yes.
Because you're not looking at television, you know, you're not listening to the radio, you're not doing anything like that. You're just enjoying the fellowship amongst people, listening to this great music. Clifton Davis did daily devotions. We had church service. There's this band called Urban Guerrilla Band out of Philadelphia. They are exceptional. So they ended up playing for everybody, Regina Bell, everybody. And they performed, and they brought all of these smaller, unknown acts out of Philly. Girl, it was amazing. Comedians, everything. So it was just beautiful. And believe it or not, the average age on the cruise was between like upper 60s, mid 70s.
Oh, wow.
And
good for them.
every time my seniors were getting it in, I was looking around like,
Good for
yes,
them.
they give me something to hope for, because those seniors were not playing. It was just beautiful. It was beautiful. So that's one of the things we've been doing.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so that sounds a lot.
And we're going back next year. We've already put down our deposit, and actually I'm going to take our mother, and Ira's taking his mother, because that's the kind of cruise that they would have a blast on.
Okay. That sounds very much like the Tom Joyner cruise.
Okay. I've never been to the Tom
and
Joyner cruise.
We went twice, and it was phenomenal. And I just absolutely loved it. Like, after that, like, regular cruises just doesn't really work for me.
There's no comparison.
Yeah, there's no comparison. So I get it.
Yeah.
So, you know, my son is a senior in high school.
Yes, Jalen.
And he is running us up and down the road, going to different colleges, talking to coaches, trying to decide what school he's going to go to, who's going to play soccer for, and the likes. So this weekend, last weekend we were in North Carolina. This weekend we were in Pennsylvania, and it was cold.
Yeah,
it was cold.
I'm sure.
And so we had a great visit, and Jalen was offered a spot on the roster at Mount Aloysius, Aloysius. It's something. It's not pronounced the way it's spelled.
Okay.
So he was offered a spot on the roster. He was actually given all of the signing documents and everything. So, you know, I say congratulations to him. I'm not saying that that's the school he's going to go to, but at least he has options. And
Well, you know, his uncle is waiting to see what happened to Elon.
Okay.
So let's just get to it.
Okay. We don't know. We haven't heard from Elon. So
Okay.
tell his uncle we haven't heard from Elon.
Okay. So how did it go when you all went?
I mean, he went down there. He played soccer, and that was
it.
that.
Okay.
Me and Jim walked the campus. We got in 3.1 miles, and the campus is beautiful. We liked it. So we'll see. But you know, that's what we've been doing. And so next weekend, And then when we came back from Pennsylvania yesterday morning, well, we got back about mid morning. Jalen had a state cup soccer game yesterday, and so I'm happy to say that they won the state cup soccer
Yes,
game.
Jalen.
The score
And
was 4-3.
mm-hmm.
And I usually pay, since Jalen has such a busy schedule and cannot work, I usually pay him for soccer goals. That's how he make his money. And so yesterday I told him I usually pay him $20 a goal. I don't know how we got to 20. It used to be 10, but at some point it went up to 20. So yesterday I told him that I would give him $50
Ooh,
for a goal.
For a goal? Wow.
For a goal.
And how many did he make?
Thank God he only did one.
Okay.
But he was bound and determined.
It is $50.
He was like, what? It's on. And so look, it was so bad, and we had some bad refereeing, and we had a couple guys get some red cards, which means they couldn't play the rest of that game or play the next game. And it was just some bad refereeing all the way around. But I just try to tell the soccer boys, just keep your head in the game because you can't control the referees. Just play your game, and thank God they did. They played their game. They ended up, and when your teammates get a red card, you can't substitute somebody in for them. So they ended up having to play down 2 players, and they still won.
Wow.
And so
that's how good they are.
Yeah, they was balling yesterday. They were balling. So they play again next Saturday.
Okay.
And it's either you win or you out. So if they win Saturday, they play again on Sunday. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be here next Sunday or not. And next Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday. And so we're going to see how it work out. And then the following weekend, he has, if he's done with his regular soccer, then he goes back to Wesley College. Because they're having another event that they want him to come to. And so they are recruiting him hard. They putting their money where their mouth is.
Hey.
And so we going to see what happens, right?
Exactly.
But we going to bring Jalen on this show and let him reveal what school he's going to go to and why he picked the school and all of that once he makes a decision, and so that he could be ready for signing day.
Now, why does it seem to me that, and I know Walida and I were talking, and Walida's sitting over here on the side. You all know Walida. Why does it seem like the schools it's taking them a long time to give acceptance letters, or not necessarily the acceptance letters, but the money piece?
Well, I don't know, but I know for Jalen particularly, they play soccer in the fall.
Okay.
On the college level, so they don't finish soccer until right before Christmas.
Okay.
And so then the coaches get to start focusing now, because then you go into Christmas break, and now the kids are back to school, and so the soccer coaches are now just not being able to get around to their recruiting. So, but yeah, Jalen, he's been accepted to Mary Baldwin, Penn State, Wesley College. Someplace else he applied. I can't keep up. I'm just like, how much does it say? How much money on the paper?
Right. Exactly.
And so, like I said, we're gonna bring Jalen on the show, let him reveal where he's gonna go, where he's gonna sign, and we're gonna talk about why he chose that school and all of that. So it's an exciting time for us as parents. Jalen's enjoying it, but I tell you, if I got to get in the car one more day and ride another hour, 2, 3.5, it is a lot.
But that's what parents are supposed to do.
Oh,
support
absolutely.
Your kids,
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Exactly. And let's go back to the cruise for a second, because I didn't say this. You never know who you're going to see on the cruise. So there were some Virginia State alumni on the cruise.
It's a Trojan everywhere you
Yeah,
go.
there were
I'm
like
not surprised
4
by
or
that.
5 Trojans on that cruise. One I knew was going, it was my soror, Linda. I knew she was going to be there. And then we saw some of Irish fraternity brothers. And then, of course, everywhere I go, I wear Delta gear or Virginia State gear, and of course, everybody's stopping you, because it's a conversation piece, because somebody somewhere knows somebody somewhere, that's connected to one of those.
Yes.
And one of the common threads, and I don't want to say this to sound to be condescending or anything, but one of the things that people were talking about when they were talking about their friends, trying to get their friends to go on the cruise, was they were saying that it was the cost. And I can understand that. I can understand cost. But this is one of those cruises where I believe you get what you pay for. And, if you plan ahead, to me, I don't think that you can pay enough
Right.
for a cruise like that. I don't know how you felt about Tom Joyner. And Tom Joyner's was a little different because I believe Tom Joyner's was part of a write-off.
Right.
You can get a tax credit for that, but for this cruise you couldn't. I don't believe necessarily for all that we got. I don't think you could really afford to go. And so the price alone and the type of room and everything and the service and the quality of customer service and who was there, I would say just check it out. And if it's something you're interested in doing, put it in your budget and pay on it monthly, because some people spend, I'm not going to say we, but some people spend more money a month eating out than it would cost for you to pay on a payment plan, right? So just, if it's something that you're interested in doing, just consider it, because it was such a wonderful thing. And the other thing I want to talk about, and this is going to roll right into Sherelle, as we get older, I'm a very observant person. I just take in. I have been working out since I was 19 years old, period. Consistently watching my diet, consistently watching my weight consistently. And let me tell you how important that is. As we get older, you want to try to avoid or minimize as many health issues as possible. And the only way that you can do that is to do what you can to take care of yourself. And so we saw, a lot of people ailing, and then we saw a lot that were not. Right? We saw a lot of people in wheelchairs, walkers. We saw a lot that were not. We met actually this couple that celebrated 67 years of marriage.
Oh, good for them.
They were probably the oldest couple on the cruise, and actually, we started chanting, give them a free cruise, because
Right.
they go on a cruise every year, and
Right.
they've been married, and they had to be 80, 90.
Oh, yeah,
And
definitely.
they were getting it in, and they were moving by themselves, mobile.
yes.
I think the husband maybe had a cane, but I mean, they were mobile. And so why did I bring that up? It's because our health is so important. And I know she did not ask me to do this, but my girl, Dr. Yolanda, is having her heart health event this weekend. And she's really talking to us about our health and taking care of your heart. And I know that is such an important piece, because we know that people are dying. And
Yes.
if you desire to live a longer life, the more information that you can have
Yes.
about your health, the better off you will be. And so, Sherelle, I just think that what you're doing is so motivational and inspirational to so many people. So just kind of remind people the journey that you're on and what you're doing.
So it's I tell you, it's a daily journey, right? It is not something you get to and just it's not a destination. It is certainly a journey. I've been doing all sorts of stuff, but that's just because I like to keep things interesting. Otherwise, I probably would get bored and fall off the wagon, so to speak.
Like so many people.
Right. And so a couple things that I'm doing is, I know some of you all probably have seen, I see Shantae on our line. I want to give you another shout out, Shantae. I got my shirt on, Shantae. I already
beautiful.
told people about it. So thank you, Shantae. I love this shirt. So a couple things I've been doing. So I started out doing just kind of cutting back on drinking beer, because that's my love, right? And so I just kind of started doing that, and then I just kind of started. Oh, and then I started cutting back on the alcohol because the carbs, the sugar is just not good. And I started cutting back before I got the diagnosis of being diabetic. And so once I got that diagnosis in October of last year, I said, okay, I need to get serious about this, because they started putting me on medicine, and I don't like medicine. I don't like taking aspirin. I don't like taking anything. And so I knew I had to take the medicine to bring my sugar levels down, because otherwise, the alternative was not a good look. People that don't take care of themselves, that are diabetics, they eventually end up having things amputated. They have heart attacks. They have kidney issues. They have liver issues. They have all sorts of issues. You can go into a diabetic eyesight for sure.
Yeah.
You can go into a diabetic coma. Just like so many things. And I wasn't trying to do any of that. And so I started, really watching what I was eating, reducing the number of carbs I was intaking. Yes, I love me some French fries. Yes, I have had French fries since October. And yes, I'm going to have them again, right? But not on a consistent basis.
Right.
Just not necessarily doing keto because keto is high fat, and I didn't want to do the high fat piece. And I had gone to a nutritionist a couple years ago, and she told me that the keto diet is the worst diet out there. So I knew I didn't want to do a high fat diet. I just wanted to kind of manage more of the carbs.
Right.
And so I've done that. And so I started losing weight, and I didn't even recognize that I was losing weight, but other people did. I did start noticing my clothes was fitting a little differently. And so I was like, okay, so I just stayed focused and just continued on my journey. And then once I started losing weight, I started working out, and I started getting up, working out in the mornings. I'm an early riser anyway, unfortunately. So I just get up and start working out. And then from there, I joined a boot camp. I've always wanted to do a boot camp because I want to do something different. And so I've been going to this boot camp. I'm there at 5:00 in the morning. It's a 30-minute session. I'm back home by 5:45, jump in the shower, get dressed for work. Boom, I'm at work by 7:30. And then from there, I saw Camille doing her 1-minute planking.
The wellologist.
Yeah, she does all the time. And so she was starting on January 1st. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I could do that too. So I started doing the planking. I tell you, January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd was tough. That minute seemed like a whole hour. And then once I started posting my videos, people started joining in on the plank challenge. And so now I have a whole group of people doing plank challenge. And they have people who joined the plank challenge because they saw their videos. So I want to give a shout out.
What do you find to be the benefit of planking? Because I do planks and
Strengthening your core and your upper body.
Exactly.
I definitely see the definition in my shoulders and my stomach. Jamaica ain't ready. Hot girl summer is coming. It's going down in Jamaica.
Yeah, we're going there in July. Yeah.
Yeah, my husband is already looking for my bathing suits, and he showed me something last night. I was like, yes, I'm gonna be ready. And so I started a 8-week challenge on January the 20th. So that's only been a week. I've completed that first week. And in that first week, I lost at least 8 pounds.
Wow.
And so, which is, that's good. I needed a restart because I kind of hit a plateau again. And so we're going into our second week, and, I'm just, watching what I eat. Yes, over the weekend, it was tough because I went to Pennsylvania. And so, yes, it was tough when you travel. You can't necessarily prep your meals, and you got to do the best you can. But I did what I could. I had some drinks. I ain't gonna trip over that. I had some beers. It is what it is. I was still down 8 pounds this morning, so that works for me. And so I'm just gonna stay on my journey. I'm also on a Facebook page where I am motivating other people to get them to start focusing in on their health journey. And so I have some people there that are doing it. So I want to give a shout out to my sister Diane, because
Lady Di.
she is knocking it out the park, and also Lawanda
Lolo.
yes, is knocking it out as well. And so we need to encourage each other, right? And not just and I'm completely transparent on the page about where I am, what I'm doing, when I have a good day, when I have a bad day, what I had, that I shouldn't have had, all of that, because you need people to get a realistic perspective of what this journey is. And I can't, sit up and say, I'm never going to have beer again, or I'm never going to eat carbs, or I'm never going to do this or that, or, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try to, really do it in moderation. So this morning I went to Walmart and I was going there to go grocery shopping because you need to do a lot of meal prepping when you are on a health journey, so that you take away those negative options. And so I happened to walk past. I knew I needed some black pants. And so I walked past some black pants, and I was like, Now, I'm not the one who tries stuff on at the store, and I don't like shopping. So I grabbed a pair of black pants, size 8. And I grabbed a jogging suit that was a size 8/10, and I took it home, and I just crossed my fingers, and I said, we're going to see what happens with this. And I put them on, and boom.
Fit.
Perfectly. And so I'm good, right? I got about 4 more pounds. And once I lose these 4 pounds, I'm going to try to go into a maintenance mode.
So what does that mean when you say you're going into a maintenance mode?
I don't want to lose any more weight.
Okay.
After I get to this 4 pounds, I don't want to lose any more weight because I'm not trying to be skinny, right? I'm just trying to be healthy. And I think the 4 pound threshold will keep me at a healthy range. It'll bring my blood sugar down. I will be coming off the cholesterol medicine.
Okay.
When I go to the doctor on February 17th, I've already decided, right? I've already claimed that. And I'm coming off the blood sugar medicine as well.
Okay.
On February 17th. So when I get my labs back on the 18th or the 19th, I'm going to be done with all of this medicine. They can kick rocks. And we're going to see where we go. My blood sugar has been amazing. I check it every morning. It has just been right where it's supposed to be. And I'm feeling good about it. So we'll see.
And let me tell you, anytime I go on a cruise, and Sherelle can attest to this, but anytime I go on a cruise or vacation, I make sure I schedule my workout times. So on this particular cruise, because there was so much to do, I was up and in the gym at 7, at least 4 days out of the 7 to do. They had a stretching, because I know that's one thing I don't do is stretch. They had a 30-minute stretching class. They had a 30-minute ab class. And then after that, I went and I did a 3-mile run around the ship. And so, it's the consistency, right? And I've just always been the type that I don't want to wait for something to happen with me before I decide to kick in gear. Because what we know for sure, particularly as we age, and women, men too, men are no different than women.
Yes, absolutely.
We, our hormones, menopause, the weight gain in the midsection, stuff just start creeping up. And I say this all the time. When I was going through menopause, I said, had I not been working out, I could have gained much more weight than I gained, right? But I consistently worked out, but I started craving carbs, and carbs was something I never really ate a lot of. And so the carbohydrates, and I think it's different for everybody, but we know that carbohydrates is a culprit for many people.
Right.
The sugar, because that's what it does. It breaks down and it stores the sugar. That's what it is. And so trying to watch your weight so that you can have a quality of life as you get older is so very important. And that's why I started the conversation. It's just about that. You all know, those of you that follow me, I go to kickboxing. I do whatever it takes just to, and the working out is just not for your physical being. It is for your emotional being, keeping you somewhat, centered and relieving stress. And so I highly encourage us, because, I'm 56, you're 54.
3. I'm going to be 54 in April.
This year. And we're getting on up there quickly.
That's right.
And what do you see for yourself, for your health, and for your future as a senior? I see myself still wanting to walk around, right? I see myself not wanting to be, in a wheelchair. That's what I see for myself,
right?
And not that things cannot happen, but what I'm saying, I'm talking about the things that I can control
and do your part. That's all you can do.
And you got to do your part. And one of the things I've learned, just for me, I don't eliminate anything from my diet. Because there's certain things I don't eat because I just don't like it, but I eat things in moderation, So if I have a taste I can buy potato chips, and this is the running joke in the house. I'll buy potato chips and we'll have them in the house. I'll get me a handful, and 2 weeks later, I may not eat them again. But when I go back, they're gone. I'm like, where are my potato chips?
And look, same house, same stuff, different house.
But I mean, you just have to find what works for you. And it's all about feeling better. And we know, and this is one of the things.
And looking better.
Yeah, and Dr. Yolanda talked about this. She talks about, how food can be inflammatory, right? And so, it inflames things, depending on what you're eating. So you got to know. And then some foods, because you're allergic to it and you don't know that you have a certain allergy to certain foods. People talk about gluten and all that. People have certain allergies that they don't know that keeps you swollen or inflamed because you're eating foods that you may have developed an allergy to. And so I just think that this conversation is a conversation that we cannot have enough of. Period.
Yeah, somebody's asking on our Facebook feed, what's the 8-week challenge that I'm doing?
Okay.
So basically, it is you go to boot camp at least 3 times a week. I went 4 times last week because I get structured and I get anal about stuff, and I ain't doing nothing else, so I might as well. And then you also they give you an eating plan, and on that eating plan, you're counting macros.
Yes.
And so it's a healthy balance of protein, carbs,
Right.
fat, and vegetables.
Right.
And so you get to mix and match what, and have things that you like. They don't tell you specifically what to eat, but they tell you what your numbers need to stay within. And they also tell you how much food you need to have of that particular item.
So is it specialized or specific to you?
It is.
The individual?
It's,
Okay,
it's
based on your weight?
It's based on your
Okay.
weight and all of that. And so me and Jim sort of kind of not really doing it. He doing his best. He did lose a few pounds this past week, but he talking about he was disappointed. I said it might have something to do with that McDonald's, but whatever. Don't worry about that because McDonald's
And
is
that
not
peanut butter- and that peanut
and
butter
that peanut
and
butter
jelly.
and jelly sandwich is not on the list. But like it is so simple to do. So like this morning I had a protein shake. In my protein shake, I had some whey protein powder, a banana, some peanut butter. If you don't put peanut butter in your shake, you are missing out on something really good. And then also spinach. And so it is so good. Put ice, use water as opposed to milk to cut back on the dairy. And it is so delicious. We have that every morning now before we.
But even the banana, you got to be careful. So that's why everybody has to have their own plan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because of the sugar.
Absolutely. And then before I came to the show, I had so one of the things they want you to do is have green leafy vegetable with every meal. And you can have 4 or 5 or 6 meals a day. I don't eat that much, so I'm struggling to get in 4 meals a day. And so I'm doing 4, but so before I came, I had some sausages, little sausage, 3 sausage link, some cabbage, which don't really go together, but whatever.
Sausage and cabbage go together.
Okay, we'll go with that. Not the breakfast sausage, but whatever. And then I had the 000 yogurt with some flax seeds in it.
Okay, yeah, flaxseed is good.
And so, it's just regular stuff that you eat. So, and then later today, I was going to make, I'm probably not going to eat it today. I'm going to eat it tomorrow, but some turkey burgers. I won't put bread on mine, but turkey burgers with cheese. And then I'll do some sauteed spinach or cooked some more cabbage and then have like maybe an apple or something and maybe some almonds. And so it's just regular food.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of balancing it out and figuring out what your portion sizes should be.
And Sherelle talked about 2, to me, very important things I've read a lot about. Eating small meals often really helps to increase your metabolism. And you know how you crave because you had a meal at 8 o'clock and you didn't eat again to 3. Now your body is like, I'm starving. You starving me. So when you eat at 3, since you haven't eaten at 8, it stores that food and it stores that fat because it doesn't know the next time you're going to feed it. So it's very important to eat small meals throughout the day and you will drop weight. It's about the choices in those meals that you eat. And the other thing she talked about is a lot of people try to eliminate carbohydrates from their diet. That's not good. I want you all to read up on brain health and the importance of why you should have carbohydrates in your diet. But it's the healthy carbohydrates in your diet for your brain because your brain requires healthy carbohydrates in order for it to function and do what it does. So it's those simple things that you need to know. And that's why I just decided a long time ago because I'm just not that disciplined. I'm disciplined when it comes to working out. But I'm not that disciplined when it says, well, you got to eliminate the French fries. You got to eliminate that. I'm not that disciplined because if I'll eat, and this is one of the things that drive Ira crazy. I'll have order French fries and only eat 5, and I'm done. And I don't eat them all. I can eat a half of a hamburger and I'm good. Because it's all about just being satisfied. And I think that came from when I was smaller. I don't know if I've ever told this story on here. My mom reminded me of this the other day. When I was smaller, I was skinny, as they say, as a child. And then I got something called the worms. Remember that? And, I know that's gross, but that was a thing back then because you're eating raw meats and cold cuts and all of that, So anyway, got sick. And right after that, I gained a lot of weight as a 9-year-old. I was very overweight. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I was about 9 or 10, extremely overweight. And my mom, this is when Weight Watchers was new. my mom put me on Weight Watchers. And what I remember about that time is that Weight Watchers taught me at that time how to eat in small portions. Weight Watchers has changed since then, but it taught you how to eat in small portions. So you would eat, a small saucer of food, or the larger little saucer thing of food, and that was it. And I have really not lost that. Sometimes if I'm like starving or something, I can eat all of my food, but it's rarely that I eat everything on my plate. And I think that's just habit and trying to make sure that I'm controlling my portions and not eliminating what I want to eat and still enjoying the things that I like. So it just depends on you. You have to know your body, what works for you, and of course, always trying to talk to a nutritionist, because there's so much information out here about food,
right,
and nutrition that all things don't work for all people.
Right. And one of the I failed to mention, the other thing I've been doing is intermittent fasting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Talk
and
about
so
that.
intermittent fasting is a wonderful thing if you could do it. I'm not a big eater. I already said that. So me not eating between, eating from 3:00 in the afternoon to 8, 9 o'clock the next morning is nothing for me. That's a done deal. I prefer to do it that way. But even with the 8-week challenge, I'm still doing intermittent fasting. And so what I had to do to accommodate the 4 meals is to open up how many hours I would eat throughout the day. And so now I eat between, I start earlier, 7 o'clock in the morning. I usually have on my way to work, that's when I drink the protein shake. And then I probably finish my last meal around 3 o'clock. And so then I don't eat anymore after that.
Yeah.
Until 7 o'clock the next morning. And I'm fine with that because, again, I promise you that protein shake had me so full to kick off the day.
Yep.
And then eating 3 more meals with carbs and protein and veggies and fat. I'm like, oh my God, last week I struggled because I don't normally eat 4 times a day. And so I didn't make it most days because I was like, I can't eat another thing. And so I ended up not eating after like 1 o'clock because I just couldn't do it.
But even with that, there's a calorie limit that you have within that window too.
It is sort of. You don't really count calories.
Okay.
But yeah, if you stick to the plan that they give you, you're going to minimize the amount of calories you having because it's controlling the portions.
Right. And that portion size is everything.
Yes.
It just is.
Yes. So it's working. Like I said, I'm looking forward to getting to a maintenance mode. I tell you one thing, I have very limited clothes sizes now. Like I have very few clothes to wear, so I'm like trying to figure out like what to wear, and it's a good thing I went down in the basement.
Altered, girl.
Look, I'm gonna get them altered, but I want to wait until I get to my maintenance size to get some of my stuff altered. But I went down to my little stash in the basement. I have a storage room down there that got bins of clothes in it that had different sizes. So I pulled out everything out of there that I could wear, got it cleaned up, took it to the cleaners. And so now that stuff is too big. And so, if y'all see me in the same stuff, so what? I'm going to still be rocking it like you ain't seen me in it before. Yeah. But in 2 weeks, when we take Jalen back up to Wesley College, by then I should be in my maintenance mode, and I'm gonna force myself to do some shopping while I'm up there because I'll be up by Rehoboth Beach. And so I'll go to that outlet mall and just kind of get some of the basic stuff like that you need, like black pants, brown pants, blue pants, tan pants, all that kind of stuff, and go from there. But
and I love this conversation because one of the things that I was talking with Alyssa about this morning is about, you have to do what's right for you in your life. Yes. And too often, even today, we still have people who are trying to live their life based on what someone else has decided that their life should be.
Right.
And these people are miserable.
Yes.
Because they're, in my household, I have this new thing talking about people got so many rules. I'm like, my goodness.
I know.
Just too many rules, Find what works for you and live your life for you. And don't impose your rules on everybody else.
Right.
If it's good for you, it's all right. And so this is what we're talking about. Find what works for you. You don't have to be a certain size, whatever you're comfortable with is what you're comfortable with. And we have to stop being so judgmental of other people. I told Alyssa, I says, as long as you're not harming yourself, and even then, our role is to try to guide you and give you some advice. But at the end of the day, we as adults, all of us have to make the best decision for our lives, because that's when you are the happiest.
Oh,
When
absolutely.
you can be your authentic self. When you can
Absolutely.
show up as your authentic self and decide to do and live life. It's like, I think Baldwin talks about, you have to go in the way that the wind blows, right? What makes your blood boils? What way is the wind blowing in your life? And so for me, it leads to this conversation. I've had some people say, well, that's going to be a lot. You going to Boston for who?
Right.
That's the way the wind has blown. And I've
Right.
always gone the way the wind has blown. And that's the way the wind has blown. And, I already know that it's destiny has called. And it's something that, Ira and I have worked out. And at the end of the day, that's it.
That's all that
it's about what
matters.
God, me, and Ira has decided. And the people that I've asked their opinion about certain things because I trust their advice and their
Right.
guidance. And so one of the things you will never say about me is that I didn't live my life.
Right.
But on the other hand, a lot of people are like, that's inspirational. I'm like, yeah, it's only temporary. Life will take you in certain directions. And I already told Ira, I said, we're going to be on the Obama's guest list. I already know it.
I know that's right.
You may as well come on and just go for the ride, because it's temporary, right? You go and do a job in terms of what you are destined to do, and it's not going to be for long.
Right.
And so I'm excited because it's all connected to everything that I do. And so for those of you who are listening, I am going to be in Boston starting this weekend, coming up at Simmons University. It's an all-female school, private college. And I'm going to be the vice president of organizational development. And I'm going to tell you something. It is absolutely phenomenal. I'm just so excited. If I could do a cartwheel, I would, because of because it's just connected to everything that I'm doing. It's connected to my
I'm laughing at Jim.
gym. It's connected to my women's conference that you all know is coming up on March the 28th, 2020. It's all about we are great, right? Greatness is in our DNA. When we pull together and we tap into why we are here. I asked someone on the cruise that was talking, I could just tell that they were kind of, just not connected. I said, well, so what's your purpose? What is your passion, more importantly, instead of just going from one thing to the next. And so I'm excited about that. And Sherelle and I, we're going to work this thing out in terms of the show continuing to go on, because when
Yes.
I come home on the weekends, I've already, made plans for me to get back to Boston that night after the show. And for the weekends, I just cannot get here. I'm going to be Skyped in, so the show goes on, and that's the beauty of
Yes.
technology.
Yes.
And so I'm looking forward to going into a place where there's a lot of transitioning happening and some transformational things are happening within that space. And so it is no coincidence. I just don't believe anything that I do necessarily is a coincidence.
Right.
And you just got to show up, and you got to show up in that positivity, that optimism, that assurance.
Oh,
that
I'm
you are
sorry.
gonna
Hold
work.
on. I gotta interrupt you. Walita just said that Rick Fox was on the helicopter with Kobe Bryant. Oh my
What?
God.
Rick Fox, the actor, the basketball player?
Yes. Oh my
Oh,
Jesus.
No. So they're just starting to.
The details are coming out now. Oh my goodness.
Well, those of you who are just joining us, we started the show talking about Kobe Bryant dying in a helicopter.
Was on the flight too?
The basketball player.
Oh my Jesus.
So we're starting to get more details. I don't know if you all are watching the news or you all are getting more information, but we're starting to get more details around who was on the helicopter ride with Kobe Bryant. And we just heard that it was Rick Fox and maybe
one of his daughters.
one of his daughters.
The one who plays basketball. Oh my Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you. Yeah, where's that news coming
Our
from?
heart and
TMZ.
our heart. Yeah, TMZ was the first one to report about Kobe. Our heart and condolences goes out to everybody involved and their families and their friends and their loved ones. This is absolutely horrific.
It's horrific.
And this is
Horrible.
this is a sad day in Black America. This is a sad day in America. These two athletes, they had a strong fan base. Rick Fox was able to cross over into acting, and he was married to Vanessa Williams, and so they have children in common. And so our hearts just goes out to everybody involved. This is a tragedy.
It is a tragedy. And so we started out by saying, love on your loved ones.
Yes.
Do some reconciliation. I was looking
on the
at
flight? 4?
yeah. I was looking at
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me get what Louisa is saying.
Now saying that Kobe's 4 daughters was with him. One baby he just had, so the 4 older daughters were with him. It said a reporter on ABC said his daughters were on board with him.
Well, it was 5 people who perished in the helicopter. That was the early report. So that would then make it 6 people.
So somebody says, has Rick Fox been confirmed? And they said, I haven't heard that yet. So that's
Okay.
not-
Okay, so maybe
Okay.
Rick Fox wasn't.
yeah, that's why
okay,
I don't want to
so
spread anything.
okay,
yeah.
so
It
we
was ABC that said that his daughters were on board with
okay. Oh my Jesus, oh my Lord, his wife. Oh my God, bless her heart.
Reconciliation.
Yeah. So I'm not sure who was on the flight.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
more is gonna come out. More is gonna come out. Just please lift her up in prayer. If she lost her husband and 4 of her babies, oh my God, lift her up in prayer, y'all.
So
And
reconciliation.
don't let me see none of y'all posting on Facebook or social media talking about when Kobe was cheating on her. I don't want to see none of that because now is not the time for that.
No, and that's what I'm talking about right
Right.
now, about reconciliation and forgiveness and love, right? Because everybody has a story.
Absolutely.
And that's what we have to do. We have to, because you don't know that moment. So love on each other, forgive each other.
Yes.
Just reconcile with one another.
Yes.
Okay? Because life is short. And we are getting ready to close out the show, but
And stop being so mad all the time.
Yeah, Lord
right?
have
Stop
mercy.
acting like you ain't never did nothing to
I'm
nobody for
telling
them
you.
to be mad at you.
I'm telling
Get over yourself.
Yeah.
If you mad at somebody about something that happened more than 2 days ago, get over it. Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
And as we close out, I was looking at Kevin Hart's special last night, the 2nd episode, and it was about he and his father, the
Oh, yeah.
reconciliation piece. And it was just a beautiful thing. It just warmed my soul, He said that wasn't mad at his father, that's his dad, and it was what it was.
Right.
And now it is what it is.
Right.
Right. And so you just have to forgive and walk in love. That's just it. And that's just it. And so as we close out, you all will be hearing from me on WHUR again this year.
Okay.
For the promotion of my 5th annual Women Thou Art Great Women Sharpening Women Conference. And the tickets are selling really, really good. So you all need to get your tickets. We have some special activities. This is our 5th year milestone. And we are ready. And it's going to be phenomenal. So go on Eventbrite. Spread the word, give us a call if you want to sponsor. Everything is there. That's all you have to do is just click. And first you got to decide, right?
Right.
Decide to come. You will be pleasantly surprised if you've never been of how awesome the event is. So, and those of you who continue to support us year after year, we appreciate you. I'll start advertising again this week, the conference, because I do know, that you got to keep things in front of people. And I was just away, so you'll start seeing more from me, and then you'll hear from me soon on WHUR.
And don't forget, I'm the MC for the conference. And for those who have been to the conference, already know how I bring it. And so particularly, with my wardrobe selection. This year, you want to be at the conference just to see the wardrobe selection.
She changes. I don't, because I start sweating. I can't do all that. It's a lot for me. But thank you all for tuning in. I think Sherelle said she wasn't going to be here next week. So
Well, it depends on what the State Cup game is.
We'll let you know. If not, we'll have to play a rerun, or we'll have our illustrious co-host. Oh, that's right. Okay, well.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out for next week. And thank you all so much for tuning in. And thank you to our new engineer.
Yes, and
Yes,
enjoy your
wonderful.
Sunday. And don't forget it's Pro Bowl Sunday. So watch the Pro Bowl. And I'm going to go with Kansas City for the Super Bowl win.
Okay. All right. Have a blessed day. Thank you all. Thank you for.
Welcome to